You're driving to your go-to fast food joint, already picturing that sizzling burger or those perfect golden fries. Your mouth's watering, your mind's set. But then, you pull up and bam! The lights are out, the doors are locked, and there's a sad little sign reading "permanently closed." Sound familiar? Yeah, it's happening everywhere. And here's the kicker, it's not just bad luck or random closings. Nope, this is a full-blown shift in America's fast food industry. We're talking heavy hitters pulling the plug: Burger King, McDonald's, TGI Fridays, Red Lobster, you name it. Over 1,000 locations gone. Poof! And before you ask, no, this isn't just about people eating a few more salads. There's more going on, way more. Are these closures tied to economic pressures? Is the shiny fast food empire crumbling? Or, brace yourselves, is there something big these companies don't want you to know? Today, we're exposing the truth. We'll break down which 12 chains are in survival mode, why this is happening, and who might be next to fall. And trust me, there's a twist coming you won't see coming. Stick around because by the end you'll realize your beloved fast food landscape may never be the same. McDonald's is the king of fast food. With over 40,000 locations worldwide, you'd think they'd be untouchable. But guess what? Even McDonald's is closing stores. Yep, the Golden Arches aren't immune to the trend. In 2023, McDonald's quietly shuttered hundreds of underperforming locations in the US, and they're just getting started. More closures are already on the horizon. Why is this happening? It's not because they're going broke. McDonald's is still swimming in cash, but this is all part of their corporate game plan. First, they're cutting dead weight. Low-performing stores don't make the cut anymore. Instead, they're pouring money into their top-performing spots. The motto? Fewer restaurants, higher profits. Second, McDonald's is fully leaning into automation. They're already testing AI drive-thrus and robot-run kitchens, and some locations have slashed staff to make way for this tech revolution. Imagine walking into a McDonald's with no workers. That might be your reality soon. Third, prices are rising. Remember when McDonald's was dirt cheap? That's over. Customers are frustrated as meal prices keep climbing. Some are even skipping Mickey D's entirely. But don't expect them to disappear. McDonald's is pivoting hard. Digital orders, self-serve kiosks, and sleek new designs are where they're heading. The big question is, will customers get on board with more tech, fewer human workers, and pricier menus? Or will they jump ship to competitors? Only time will tell. One thing's clear, this isn't the same McDonald's you grew up with. Alright, let's talk about KFC, the so-called king of fried chicken. Guess what? This giant isn't immune to the fast food apocalypse. They're shutting down stores across the country, and here's why. First off, nobody's dining in anymore. Those big old-school KFC dine-in restaurants, they're a thing of the past. People don't want to sit inside staring at greasy booths and plastic trays. Customers want convenience, drive-thrus, delivery, mobile orders. That's where the game is now. And KFC is struggling to keep up. But that's not the only issue. KFC isn't dominating fried chicken the way it used to. Enter the competition. Popeyes, their chicken sandwich practically broke the internet. Chick-fil-A, they've got loyal fans who will sit in endless drive-through lines for their chicken fix. KFC is stuck playing catch-up. And then there's the money problem. The cost of chicken has skyrocketed. Labor's expensive. Rent on those massive sit-down restaurants, crushing. It's just too much. Bigger stores don't mean bigger profits anymore, so they're pulling the plug on many of them. Instead, KFC's pivoting to smaller locations with a focus on takeout and digital sales. They're trying out new store designs to catch up to modern fast food trends, but will it work? Fewer locations mean less visibility, and with the competition heating up, KFC's future isn't exactly looking golden brown and crispy. Only time will tell if they can survive the pressure, or end up as fried as their chicken. Alright, let's cut to the chase about Subway, the so-called king of footlongs. People used to love it for the fresh, made-to-order sandwiches. But now, the brand is fading fast and they're shutting down hundreds of locations. What went wrong? The biggest issue? Consistency, or lack thereof. Subway operates on a franchise model, which means independent owners run the show. That's a recipe for disaster. Some locations are great, serving up fresh sandwiches, while others make you wonder if their lettuce expired last week. Customers are sick of rolling the dice every time they grab a footlong. And in today's world, trust matters. Subway, it's losing it. Then there's the competition. Brands like Jersey Mike's and Jimmy John's have stepped up their game with faster service and superior quality. Subway's still clinging to its outdated build-your-own sandwich model, and honestly, people just don't have the patience anymore. They want quick, they want good, and Subway isn't delivering literally or figuratively. And don't forget the health factor. Subway used to market itself as the healthy choice, but that image is getting crushed by trendy, fast casual spots offering organic, sustainable, and fresher options. Younger eaters? They're not buying into the old-school Subway vibe anymore. Now Subway's trying to rebrand and revamp its menu to stay relevant, but will it work? With hundreds of stores closing and trust circling the drain, the outlook isn't exactly promising. Could this be the beginning of the end for Subway? Only time will tell. Alright, coming in at number 4 is none other than Pizza Hut. Yeah, the iconic pizza chain we all grew up with. The one where you'd actually sit down, see a red-roofed building, and chow down on a pizza at a table. Well, forget all that nostalgia because Pizza Hut is shutting down a huge chunk of its dine-in restaurants. And why? Because those locations just aren't cutting it anymore. Here's the harsh truth. People don't want to sit in Pizza Hut's dining rooms. They want their food fast, hot, and preferably at home. Consumer habits have completely flipped, and Pizza Hut is scrambling to keep up. More people are ordering online and getting their pizza delivered, and the old-school sit-down model feels outdated and quite frankly unnecessary. Meanwhile, competitors like Domino's and Papa John's are crushing it. They've laser-focused on takeout and delivery, making the process so quick and painless that Pizza Hut feels stuck in the 90s by comparison. Then there's the cost issue. Running those big dine-in places isn't cheap. Rising rents, labor costs, and ingredient prices are eating into profits like a hungry customer at a buffet. Pizza Hut knows they can't keep throwing money at locations that don't bring in enough foot traffic. Instead, they're closing the doors on many of these dine-in spots and shifting to delivery-only or carry-out-focused stores. But don't think Pizza Hut is giving up entirely. They're fighting for relevance by testing out smaller store formats and investing in technology, like mobile apps and online ordering. Whether this reinvention saves them or not is anyone's guess. They're betting it'll help them claw their way back into the game, but honestly, it might just be too little, too late. Alright, number 5 on our list is Papa John's. Yep, the chain that built its brand on better ingredients, better pizza is having anything but a better time right now. Store closures are popping up everywhere, and it's not because they've suddenly decided the pizza market isn't their thing. The truth? Papa John's is struggling to stay in the game against fierce competition. Chains like Domino's and Little Caesars are dominating the market by doing what Papa John's isn't. Offering faster service, cheaper deals, and convenience that customers actually care about. Meanwhile, Papa John's is lagging behind and it's costing them a lot. Many locations just aren't pulling in enough cash to justify staying open, especially in areas where the competition is downright brutal. If you can get a $5 hot and ready from Little Caesars or a Domino's deal delivered in 30 minutes flat, why bother with anything else? On top of that, running these stores isn't getting any cheaper. Rent, labor, ingredients, all of it is going up. With shrinking sales and ballooning costs, franchise owners are being forced to call it quits rather than bleed money. And yeah, Papa John's knows they can't keep this up. They're trying to pivot by closing underperforming locations and focusing on delivery and carryout. But is it enough? The chain is testing out ghost kitchens and smaller, more efficient formats in an effort to get leaner. They've even rolled out some new menu items like those Papa Bowls. But here's the thing, everybody's doing that. The pizza market is crowded, and standing out is harder than ever. Papa John's is fighting, but whether they manage to stay afloat or get completely overshadowed, well, that's the billion-dollar question. Alright, here we are with number 6, Burger King. Yep, the so-called king of burgers is in serious trouble. Over 400 locations across the US are shutting down, and some of these closures are happening so fast you'd think they were trying to sneak out unnoticed. The question is, what's really going on? First up, franchise owners are drowning. Running a Burger King isn't cheap, and with the cost of rent, wages, and ingredients shooting through the roof, many franchisees just can't cut it anymore. Some are even going bankrupt, wiping out entire locations in the process. Then there's competition. Burger King is losing the game, plain and simple. McDonald's is dominating the market like always, and even Wendy's is pulling ahead in customer loyalty. People are complaining that Burger King's food doesn't taste as good as it used to. Pair that with slow service and outdated, worn-down restaurants, and it's no surprise that customers are choosing the Golden Arches or the Square Patty crew instead. And we can't forget corporate blunders. Remember that Moldy Whopper ad? Yeah, what were they thinking? Trying to prove how real their food is by showing moldy burgers? Spoiler alert, it didn't work. Instead of making people hungry, it made customers avoid them like the plague. But here's the kicker. Burger King isn't throwing in the towel just yet. They're pouring millions into remodeling their stores, streamlining service, and pushing drive-through and digital orders. It's a bold move, but is it too late to save the brand? Can new paint jobs and faster apps really save a reputation that's been slipping for years? Or is the King about to lose its crown for good? We're all watching to see what happens next. Alright, rolling in at number 7 is Wendy's. You know them. The chain with the fresh, never-frozen beef and those savage comebacks on Twitter. But guess what? All those witty tweets won't fix the real problems they're facing. Over 140 Wendy's locations have shut down in the US this year, and we're not done counting. Things are looking rough for the burger chain. Here's the deal. Most Wendy's locations aren't corporate-owned. They're run by franchisees, and those franchise owners are hanging by a thread. Rising rents, skyrocketing labor costs, and pricier ingredients are making it nearly impossible for them to turn a profit. Some of them just can't keep up and are being forced to pull the plug. That's why you're seeing doors close all over the place, and honestly, some Wendy's locations are an embarrassment. Outdated buildings, slow service, and that stuck in the 90s vibe don't exactly excite customers. People expect clean, modern, and efficient. Wendy's knows this, but instead of remodeling all their stores, they're doing what's cheaper, shutting down the underperformers. Oh, and prices? They've quietly hiked them up. A meal that used to be an easy grab and go is now flirting with sit-down restaurant costs. And people are noticing. To make it worse, Wendy's announced they're playing with surge pricing, yeah, like Uber. Imagine paying more for a burger just because it's lunchtime. Unsurprisingly, this sparked outrage. No one wants surge-priced fast food. Period. Still, Wendy's isn't going down without a fight. They're betting big on drive-through only spots, mobile orders, and even artificial intelligence to amp up service. Sounds fancy, but will it be enough to earn back the trust of ticked-off customers? That's the million-dollar question. For Wendy's, the clock is ticking. Will they bounce back, or is this the beginning of the slow fade-out? Alright, number 8 on the list, Jack in the Box. This is the late-night go-to for tacos and burgers, but not even their 24-hour service is saving them now. Jack in the Box is shutting down locations left and right, and there's no sugarcoating it. They're struggling to keep up in today's fast food world. Why the closures? It all boils down to 2 words: declining sales. Jack in the Box simply isn't bringing in enough cash, and the costs to run these locations are spiraling out of control. Rent, wages, ingredients, it's all getting more expensive. When you throw in the stiff competition from chains like McDonald's, Wendy's, and Taco Bell, it's not hard to see what's squeezing them out. These brands serve up similar menu items at prices Jack in the Box is having a tough time competing with. And then there's the issue of what people actually want. Consumers today are ditching greasy tacos and oversized burgers for healthier meals, or at least menus with more diversity. Jack in the Box hasn't exactly been quick to pivot to a more health-conscious offering. They've rolled out new items like their sauced and loaded fries. Sure, it's a step, but fries covered in sauce doesn't scream healthy option, does it? Plus, younger customers are leaning towards modern, fast casual dining or restaurants prioritizing digital convenience. Think brands with streamlined apps and snazzy delivery systems. Jack in the Box is playing catch-up here. They've started upgrading tech and stores to keep up with online ordering trends and delivery services. But is it enough? Shutting down unprofitable locations might stop some of the bleeding, but in a constantly evolving fast food market, survival is a gamble. Jack in the Box either steps up their game or risks becoming just another memory of late-night cravings gone by. Alright, coming in at number 9 is Taco Bell, the chain that gave us Doritos Locos Tacos and a million excuses for late-night food runs. But even with all its creativity, Taco Bell isn't immune to the harsh reality hitting the fast food industry. Yep, they're closing down locations and things aren't looking as spicy as their menu. What's going on? The usual story, money. Running a Taco Bell is expensive. Ingredients cost more, labor costs are up, and rent prices are through the roof. For some locations, the math just doesn't work anymore. If it's not making enough money, it's getting the axe. These closures are mainly hitting underperforming spots where sluggish sales can't keep up with rising expenses. And then there's the shift in how people eat. Sitting inside to munch on a Crunchwrap Supreme? Not anymore. Most customers are skipping the dining room entirely, opting for drive-thru or delivery instead. Taco Bell knows this, which is why they're pivoting hard towards smaller, more efficient locations built specifically for cars in line and app orders. Traditional dining rooms? Pretty much pointless at this stage. But don't be fooled. Taco Bell isn't throwing up the white flag. They're rolling out new tech, reimagining their restaurants, and leaning into digital sales. They're trying to stay relevant in a market that's rapidly changing. The real question is, will these moves work, or is Taco Bell just delaying the inevitable? Because while they may be a fan favorite, even the mighty Taco Bell isn't untouchable. Whether their innovations bring a comeback or we see those purple and pink logos fade into memory, only time will tell. For now though, it looks like they've got some serious work to do. Alright, rolling in at number 10, it's Dunkin. The coffee and donut heavyweight that fueled your mornings for years isn't immune to the fast food shutdown frenzy. Yep, Dunkin is closing underperforming locations across the country, and it's all part of a bigger game plan. But don't get it twisted, just because Dunkin is iconic doesn't mean it's untouchable. They've got problems. First off, competition is eating their lunch. Or breakfast, in this case. Starbucks, cozy local coffee shops, and even McDonald's and Chick-fil-A are coming hard for Dunkin's customers. With better options for coffee and breakfast sandwiches popping up everywhere, Dunkin's America Runs on Dunkin slogan is losing weight. People are running, alright, but straight to the competition. Then there's their heavy reliance on franchising. Sure, franchising helped Dunkin grow like wildfire, but when you hand your brand over to franchisees, quality control can tank. Some stores are amazing, but others, not so much. Poor management, outdated designs, slow service. It's a mixed bag that's turning some customers off entirely. And in today's world, people expect fast, clean, and seamless. Subpar just doesn't cut it. Oh, and don't forget about the digital revolution. Ordering ahead, mobile apps, delivery. If you're not adapting to the tech-savvy crowd, you're done. Dunkin knows this, which is why they're scrapping the deadweight locations and investing in stores that prioritize online orders and drive-thrus. They've got sleek grab-and-go designs in the works, but that transition is far from smooth. The question is, will Dunkin survive this shakeup? They've got strong name recognition, but that only goes so far when the market's this crowded. Whether this strategic pivot keeps them in the game or lands them in the dust, well, we'll just have to wait and see. Dunkin, the clock is ticking. Alright, here we go with number 11, Chipotle. The fast casual giant that's built a cult following with its fresh, build-your-own burritos and bowls, is also feeling the heat. Believe it or not, Chipotle is closing select locations across the US. And no, it's not because people stopped loving guac, even if it's extra. The truth is, running a Chipotle is getting ridiculously expensive. Here's the deal, rising costs are hitting hard. We're talking skyrocketing prices for ingredients, higher wages for crew members, and rents that can break the bank. Some of Chipotle's locations just aren't able to keep up, and the company isn't wasting time on them. If a store isn't pulling its weight financially, it's getting cut loose. It's harsh, but it's business. But here's another reason for the closures. Consumer behavior is changing. Fewer people are strolling into stores to grab their burritos. Instead, they're ordering online or getting food delivered. Chipotle sees the writing on the wall, so they're shifting focus to locations that can handle this digital-first demand. Smaller spaces, fewer dine-in options, and streamlined mobile order pickups. This is the direction they're heading. And of course, competition is crowding the market. Fast casual rivals like Qdoba and those beloved local Mexican spots are offering similar menu items, often at better prices. Chipotle is feeling the squeeze to innovate, scale back where necessary, and stay ahead. Does shutting down underperforming restaurants and ramping up their digital game mean Chipotle is in trouble? Not yet. They're spending big on delivery infrastructure, adding exciting menu options, and smartening up their store designs to fit changing habits. But will this be enough to keep them the reigning champ of fast casual dining? Burrito lovers, stay tuned. Only time will tell. Alright, wrapping up this list at number 12 we've got Hardee's, a chain best known for its burgers and breakfast biscuits. But guess what? Even with a loyal fan base, Hardee's is closing down select locations across the US. And while that might just seem like another headline, the reasons behind it reveal some big shifts in the fast food game. Spoiler alert, it's not looking good for these outdated chains. First, you've got the rise of ghost kitchens. Heard of them? These are kitchen-only operations with no fancy dining areas or storefronts. Hardee's hasn't fully jumped on this trend yet, but other big players like Pizza Hut and Papa John's are going all in. Why? It's cheaper. No rent for useless dining space, no extra staff, it's delivery-only efficiency. This model could leave Hardee's, with its traditional storefront reliance, lagging behind. Meanwhile, the fast food industry is putting money into tech like never before. AI drive-thrus, self-service kiosks, and robots are becoming the norm. McDonald's is literally testing AI that guesses your order based on what you've bought before. It might sound cool, until you consider how many jobs these machines are replacing. But for brands like Hardee's that can't match this level of innovation, losing customers is almost guaranteed. On top of all this, menu reinvention is the name of the game. Fast food chains are constantly cooking up new ideas to grab attention. Hardee's? It's sticking to its classics, which is a risky move in a market where people want variety. Bottom line, these closures at Hardee's are just the tip of the iceberg. If they don't catch up with tech, delivery trends, and evolving customer tastes, they'll risk falling into fast food irrelevance. Time to shake things up, or it's game over for Hardee's.